I wrote an article about a year ago that got me into a whole lot of trouble, in which I speculated on what would happen if we simply extended the legal standards of behavior that we expect of our own citizens into the international arena. Now, I was inspired by this because I see much of global politics determined by primitive tribal instincts, so that we have very different responses to the in-group than we do to the out-group, which is part of the ethical dilemma we're confronting. So what I did was look at the negligence provisions of the common law and the criminal code in Canada. And the question I asked was, is Canada not being criminally negligent in the international arena? Were we to extend the simple premises of the criminal code into that domain? In other words, if we had a global governance system that adopted for the world the same kind of legal framing that we have within nations, we'd have a very different set of relationships. Here's what the criminal code says about doing harm to another person. I'm just quoting this from memory, but I think it's pretty much accurate. A person is guilty of criminal negligence if by doing something a reasonable person would not do, or by not doing something a reasonable person would do, he or she causes death or harm by any means, intentional or not, to another person. It's very clear, and by the way, the common law is not that much different, and most of our current torts in court are having to do with common law negligence provision. So it seems to me that we have a tremendous dual standard here, whereby we simply do not, in international law, the primacy of national sovereignty holds sway over any kind of international obligation. And we need to reframe this issue so that these kinds of provisions can apply internationally. Because we are, in this framing, criminally negligent in causing harm or death to other persons by continuing to act in ways that perpetrate that harm and not acknowledge our culpability.